Today we'll take a look at Cyberpunk 2077 and see if the game with all the hype is actually worth your precious free time. We're going to start off by saying we did not play this game on a PC. We played it on a PS4. You know, the version that was fully pulled off the online stores. Now, the reasoning for us going for the console version, however, is the fact that we like to sit in the living room in front of our really big screen TV when we play video games. You know, we're old. So you should know up front that all the footage that you're seeing in this review came from a PS4 playthrough. We're also going to say that in order to be able to play and capture some decent footage, we turned a bunch of the video options off. Like, almost all of them. Let's take a look at the basics. In this game, you are V. And in order to become V, you'll build out a character, choosing your gender, look, feel, and one of 3 life paths before you begin a journey into Night City. Sounds like an exciting beginning to an interesting RPG. Thing is, we couldn't find anywhere that truly made a real lick of difference in the end. There's bits and pieces here and there where you got some dialogue choices for only certain life paths, and there are some missions only available to certain genders. But in the grand scheme of things, none of it really seemed to matter to the overall story at all. It seems to us it's really just a drive for you to go back and replay in order to get to see that content. Also, we honestly wonder why so many people are complaining so much about the lack of detailed character customization and some of the clothing issues going on. Because we don't think it's a problem because of how little you actually get to see your character. This title is mainly a first-person shooter. So aside from a few mirrors and some cutscenes, what your character looks like and the cosmetics of your outfit really don't matter at all. After you go through your life path storyline, which is shorter than we thought it would be, things start to get interesting. We say that because once you end your life path storyline is when you start to choose how you truly want to play the game. Unlike a lot of other open world RPGs, in Cyberpunk 2077, the main storyline isn't what's important here. In fact, if you choose to focus on that main storyline, you're going to be done with the game pretty quickly. But if you do what you're supposed to do, which is wander around the city and do all the weird side stuff, then the game's going to take you a whole lot longer. You see, although it's counterintuitive for many gamers, and for the driving force behind the main storyline, honestly, once you hit the ability to free roam, not only is wandering around and doing the side missions what you should do, it's really what the game wants you to do. In fact, it's the real place that Cyberpunk 2077 shines. There are tons of involved and creative side quests to enjoy. They're diverse, fantastic, they're full of adventure and humor. A great example is one side mission where this poor guy is in need of a bit of help.
No, it's a normal implant malfunction. Happy? You helping me or what?
Doing these missions and finding all the Easter eggs hidden away is very satisfying. There are tons of things to find.
I'm going to kill you, and all the cake is gone.
What you choose to do actually has an impact on your adventure and what you get to see and do. Also, how you choose to do those things matter. There's a mechanic that gives you points in skill categories based on how you're playing. So if you play stealthily and use lots of handguns, you're going to get bonus points intended for you to spend on those areas, although you don't have to spend them there. If you aren't getting bonuses where you think you should be, you're probably not playing in the style that you think you are. It's actually a brilliant gameplay mechanic. Trouble is, as you get pulled into Night City, the bugs knock you right back out of the immersion. Before we bust on those bugs though, We want to say that in most cases, the difference between console and PC versions is not that big of a deal for us. Maybe there's a reflection missing here, some extra models aren't drawn there, but who cares? Especially when you're playing a single player title like this, when, nobody's going to have an advantage over somebody else who has a better setup. Sadly, that was not the case in this title. The issues plaguing this game are astounding. In our opinion, it's almost like the PC version was made by one studio and the console version is a bad port done by a startup studio. Here's the quick breakdown. As far as length goes, how long this game is really up to you. There's the main story, and if you stick to it alone, you're going to blow through this title in no time. But you're going to miss out on a lot. Play the game as we think was intended and focus on those side quests first. Not only are you going to get more out of that main story, but the game is going to last you a whole lot longer. The main story is interesting, but again, as we said, it's over too quickly. It's the number of side missions and their incredible depth that keep this title going. Gameplay was very glitchy. Frame rate dropped all the time, models didn't render, a number of missions were so broken we couldn't even do them. Oh, and our game completely crashed over and over again. The only savior was how often the game automatically saves and the fact that we had the ability to manually save whenever we wanted. Music and sound effects are what you expect, but we actually found ourselves turning the music completely off more than listening because the volume mechanic seems to be completely broken. As far as fun goes, that really depends on your ability to put up with the glitchy stuff and how willing you are to restart the title again and again and again. In the end, there is an enjoyable game here with an interesting story and amazing side quests that will take you a long time to complete. Unfortunately, that good game is swimming in a sea of issues at the moment.